Here's the thing. Even if the customer has told you their price, you should definitely show them some merchandise that's more expensive than what they specified, and possibly even some that's less expensive. Why? Because the item in their stated price range may not really suit their needs. They could just be throwing a number out there to answer your question. Maybe what they really want, the actual perfect purchase for them, costs a little bit more, or maybe a little bit less. You're respecting your customer by giving them all the information they need to make the right decision. Remember, don't prejudge how much your customer can spend, and don't assume that what you would pay is what they want to pay. Now, sometimes, perhaps most of the time, your customer doesn't have a hard and fast budget. In fact, they might not have any idea at all about how much they need to spend to get what they want. In this case, it's your absolute responsibility to show them merchandise in a range of prices, from the highest to the lowest. Give them the choices and let them decide. There are some customers who will always, no matter what, buy the most expensive thing. It's what makes them happy, and it's what makes the purchase perfect for them. Great. Other customers will always choose the least expensive, and that's fine too. But show them the options and let them decide. As you're showing merchandise at different price points, you want to explain to your customers why the prices are different. Tell them specifically what features and benefits are different in the higher price goods and why they're worth more. Here's an example from my kite store. Let's say a customer came in and wanted to spend, say, $50 on a sport kite. You know, the kind of kite that you can make loop and dive and maneuver through the sky. So if they wanted to spend $50 on a sport kite, I'd walk them over to my wall of kites and I'd show them the $50 kites. I started at the price point they told me, and then I'd move up. And I'd tell them that the $50 kites are fun, but they're smaller and they use fiberglass rods. So they're really durable, but they take a lot of wind to fly. Then I'd show the $100 kites. They're slightly bigger, which makes them easier to fly, and they use hollow fiberglass rods so they can fly in lighter wind, which means you can fly them more often. Last, I'd get to the $200 kites, which are the high-performance kites. They use hollow carbon fiber rods, which make the stiffest and lightest frames so they will fly in the widest range of wind speeds, meaning you can fly the most. So do you see how I showed the different options, explained the features and benefits, starting at the price point the customer told me, and then moved them and showed them more expensive merchandise? Now that customer has the information they need to make a perfect purchase. If I'd only shown the $50 kite and they took it home and were bummed because it took a lot of wind to fly and they rarely used it, well, that's not a perfect purchase, even though it was the kite at their stated price point. Let me tell you something. Most of the time when you show your better, more expensive merchandise and explain the features and benefits to them, you'll sell it. You'll sell it because it's what's better for the customer. It's their perfect purchase.